Hi guys, it's me. How are you guys doing? I'm coming on today because, as you know, I do want to share a message wherever I can. I do want to give a lot of thanks and praise to all of you that are my subscribers that do send me messages and do appreciate and share with me what you guys are going through. And as such, I always try to come in with a message, a proverb, some type of nomenclature of some sort to share with you guys. So, for some last days, I have been going out live and I've been doing my channelings outdoors. And I've been meeting a lot of great people. I've been doing and connecting, and I know it's just going to get better and better. And it's really odd because I feel like for the first time in my life, maybe like you guys, that things are finally starting to make some sense. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like for a lot of us, God has put his most delicate hands on us in order to kind of create us into these beautiful works of art or beautiful pieces of existence. And I can honestly say that now that I'm embodying this version of myself now, it's so odd in the sense that I feel like where I started from to where I am now, all through the time, much like you guys, I'm sure, that when you were first on your journey, we all go through these challenges, levels, different things that we're facing, different things of existence, and the trials, the tribulations, everything comes at us. And all through this process, we're not really tapping into how fundamentally there's such temperance and grace to it all. And what I can honestly say is that I feel like for some of us, maybe most of us that have been on this journey, there is a form of hindsight that's finally coming to the forefront for us in such a real and enthusiastic way. There's this idea of a quickening and not at the same time a lessening, because I feel like a lot of us are coming into stride. A lot of us are fundamentally understanding what presence we want to step into in this next time. And for these last days, when I've been going out, I've been noticing there's so many parallels with everyone I read, to the point that, like, I see so much of myself in everyone that I meet. And then that probably includes all of you, and that's why you listen to me and we listen to each other. But I do truly feel like the message I want to share is that for those of you that might be starting on your journey, please know that it may seem like it's going to be a mountain, a complete mountain. Like Mount Athos is staring at you, and you're like, okay, can I climb it? Can I make it? Can I get through it? And we're not truly at a stage at that point that we understand what's the point of climbing this large mountain. You're in Greece and you're looking at Mount Athos and you're like, how do I get to the top? You know what I mean? I'm just using a random mountain, but you get my idea. And I too also have been with you, and we've been climbing the mountain together. And you know what's funny? In about, like, let's say 2 years from now, I'm going to be reflecting on this, saying that I climbed another Mount Athos. You know what I'm saying? But what I genuinely feel like is, now that I've come to that whole live reading and like really getting over some of the fear sets that I was holding on to, I feel like all of us are moving into this space of fearlessness, of abounding past fears that we thought we could never face. And then once we pass those, we just keep finding the next thing and the next thing. And ultimately, from where I stand, I feel like God has been preparing us like fine wines. That's the main message I can say. Because it's like this whole thing has been some form of journey. And I do use this as a parallel, but I feel like in some ways and respects it's very similar to that of making wine. Because like when you come on the journey, it's like God's basically giving you like fruit, like the labors, the fruits of your labor. Let's just say, like, just taking the call, just like really settling in, just like having to lose people, realizing your frequency's higher, realizing that a lot is going to be shed. But in a weird sense, it's like that freedom that you receive by after claiming what's truly yours, in a sense, is like the fruits of your labor. And you start off with the fruits. And at some point, you're very giddy and you're like, yeah, I got all this. I'm sorry to put it as such a layman way of putting it, but like, you got all these grapes and you're like, oh, look at me with my grapes, And you're like, can I eat the grapes? And, God's like, no, you're not done yet. You're not, this grapes isn't where you're just going to stay. Hold on. And you're just like, but being around the grapes is great. Like, I'm cool with this, And it's like, in a weird way, like the fruits of your labor seem like they're kind of, fulfilled at some degree, but it's not even as far and as great as it's going to get, or as more tremendous as it is from that standpoint. And please know that the journey that I'm alluding to at this very moment in time, it does not sound as magical as this. It's actually very laborious. It's actually going to stretch and press and compound you in ways that you have never felt before. And realistically, a lot of people say it's that pressure makes diamonds type of thing, but I feel like I'm correlating it with winemaking today, because it's like we do get pressed and stretched in all different formations of self. We've moved from the grape section of our existence on the journey, and now we're being pressed. And I feel like the pressing is what actually shows us as the individuals how great we can become. If we just keep pushing the barriers, if we just keep eliminating all the jargon, the different naysayers, the haters, the complexities of our day-to-day being us chosen star seeds, etc., what we go through, because it is a very intrinsically different lifestyle than some that choose to ignore their spiritual endeavors and or their endowments. So it's not to say that there are specific people, but a lot of us that are coming onto this lifestyle or way of being, or this position or mission, whatever way you want to put it, we have to go through this like wringing and laboriousness, because that's the time that we get stretched to be transformed into something else. And what that something else is after that whole painstaking, and that could be a year, it could be 2, it could be 5. Some of us have been on this journey for a very long time, but in this current time, this is a different time than all time. Because a lot of people could be on the journey for a very long time and they're still experiencing these sensations in the energetic field, because that's what we're feeling at this moment. There is something to be said with all of the convulsions, all the different things, all the transmutation, all the like corruption being modified into something transmutable that will perform some subset of love and move towards love. We're all just motioning towards this agreeable understanding of what unconditional love should look like, could be, when it's accepted and understood. So during that time, for all of us ascenders, that pressing time is it can be very long or short, but I'm betting on long. So I'm not going to say that it's 3 months. I'm not going to say that it's 6 months. Everyone's a different creation in God's eyes. So I truly want you to know is that if you are in that painstaking era, let's just say what I like to call the pressing of the grapes era of the transformation, it's so necessary, because you evolve to a degree that you can't even fathom. So it's like we're being molded all through the time, and it's like a very slow and yet fast progression, because if you really think about the transformation that you've made, doesn't matter if you're 3 months in, 1 year in, 10 years in, etc., the past sense of self, and I always like to say it felt like some form of revival or resurrection, at least for myself, when I came on again to my second coming to the journey. It was something that I feel a lot of us that go through this feel right at the beginning, you know what I mean? And it's in a sense that older version of you is like it's like you're in a new chapter. So it's like it's like as if you could see like before Christ and after Christ, it's like these two separate things or parts of your life. The second chapter begins with the ascension journey, whenever that started for you. So for those of us that are on it, have been on it, we're on different times, different waves, different situations. But truly, I feel like that stretching, pressing time is solely to transform and solely to mold. And it goes slowly, but it's just so amazing because in such a short time, you've like, I'm almost like, you get what I'm saying? I'm almost 40 and I've transformed more in 2 years than I ever did the other 36, 30. You get what I mean? I'm not going to count childhood, but that chunk of time was like nothing. And then it was like I started ascending, coming on, and then it's like in 2 years I've transformed my whole existence. So I feel like for those of you on this journey, you know exactly what I mean. It's like you're either in the stage of getting there, or you're in the middle of it, or you're past it, this pressing time. Because what comes out of it is like you yourself start to say, I get it. Like, this is all for me, not to me. And I'm going to learn, and I'm going to prosper, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to blossom. And that's what the pressing is there to achieve, in a sense. And not a sense. That's what it's there to achieve. So you get through that portion of the existence of the ascension, and trust me, it's not something that I can even say is over, because I feel like you'll just get better like a fine wine. Like, really and truly, it's like once we've been pressed, we become wine. But it's like we're already wine, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, what type of wine are we going to become? And I feel like it's like we're becoming this like this fine wine, because what happens with wine, it's like, yes, you make it, yes, you cork it after you've pressed it, right? But then it's like you put it in a canteen, or you put it in some type of like a cantina for your wines, and you hold on to it, and you hold on to it, and you're like encapsulated, and you just become more and more robust and more flavorful and more delicious as the years go by. So I still feel, even in that space, we're still transforming, but all for the better, even better than the graduated sense of to become just wine, right? So it's like we become this like beautiful sitting, like embracing, aging process self. And as we do that, it's like we truly start to be understood within ourselves that we are this fine wine. So it's like we have so much more boundaries and tolerance and acceptance of others to know like where we should and shouldn't share ourselves. And for those of you that don't understand what I mean, is like energetically, once we get to certain stages, it's like we have to be very aware that as fine wines, let's say, you don't want to be just drank or used as a cooking wine, let's just say. So it's like we as persons ascending find ourselves in these precarious places, because we truly know that our means are what we're meant to do is to be, really truly found, and really truly adored, and really truly savored, in a sense, because it's like what we have to offer the world is beautiful, much like a fine wine. So I find like, even if, let's say, we do unravel and we finally get corked, let's say, and I'm using these as metaphors, please know that what I mean by decorking means like when our most awesome self is revealed, our I am presence is really truly presented to the world. We would hope and acknowledge that once we are in this headspace, or a space in general, that we would want to be treated as such. You know what I mean? Because we're such a beautiful bouquet as people, as aspects, as general like light bearers to this world, and as those that watch us or don't watch us, or unite with us or don't unite with us. We are all beautiful beings, okay? All of us ascenders, all of us that are going on these missions, doing what we need to do, I hope know that in some way, shape, and form, that is what God is preparing you for, to be this like robust, beautiful bouquet to be shared with the world. And in the same sense, you don't want the world to just drink you down. You want the world to, pour a glass, swivel it around, smell it, embrace it, love it, care for it. And I feel like that's what's going to happen for a lot of us, because we are a gift to the world. You are a gift to the world, and everyone should embrace and see what you're truly are. Like, that's all I think the message is today, because it was like, I know that when I was sitting in this headspace, when after I had performed these lives for several days, and I realized the connection I was getting, and I realized like where I was from where I was last year. It's like I'm no longer this timid girl. I actually feel like I'm embracing everything that I am as time goes on. And I feel like now that I'm out in the real world and people are actually embracing me, I feel like God's was kind of cluing into me that once all of us get to these levels, we'll be embraced like fine wine, because we've done the work. We've conquered our shadow as much as we can. We have become these embodiments of the Christ itself, that is willing and able and capable of being vulnerable and sharing who we are with the world, which is one of the most beautiful forms of unconditional love there is. Because unconditionally, we know that no matter what happens, this is who we're here to be and who we are. So I hope this message hits whoever it has to. But I truly feel like this is a time that you need to hear, if anything, that you're beautiful, you're loved, and what you have to share and offer is needed right now. So I also hope that this hits someone's ears that needs to hear it. And you are this beautiful masterpiece and work of art. And don't ever forget it. Love you lots. Have a good one, guys. Bye.